Hi, everybody. This is Tamara Hergert, and I am so excited to have Michelle Sakhai here with us today. And I am just thrilled to have her because she has this luminous art that she is able to, or she has been able to promote so well. And it seems like she has just a ton of advice that she can give us on just different things. And so I would like to give her the mic so she can share her story.
Hi, everyone. Yes, thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so how did you start out? I know you have a degree in fine arts and you are also a teaching professor, or like how, like, I know you've done a lot of speaking engagements and I know you're on the probably on the advisory board right now, if I remember correctly,
That's
right?
correct. Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct. Yes, gosh, yeah, I started going several different art schools, and through many different art schools within the US and abroad, I ended up being a teacher for a little bit, which was something that was not part of my plan. But I was in San Francisco, and after my master's, I wanted to keep going, and I called around, and they kind of laughed and said, "Why don't you teach?" And I, it was kind of like
Yes.
literally how it happened. And I was
Wow.
like, "Well, I never thought about teaching," and it was like, "Okay, well, I'll give it a try." And so at Berkeley, I taught a few classes, and but yeah, it did. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it was I knew it wasn't my, teaching is a whole nother thing, so it's different
Yes, for
creating.
sure. Yeah. And so how did you make your transition into your actual working artist career? Was it a gradual tradition or did you just like sort of
Yeah.
took a leap?
Well, in a nutshell, I started painting really young, so I knew I was creative and I enjoyed painting, and it was always painting
Hmm.
different. It was watercolor till I was 13, and then oils from that point on. And then was just kind of following, what I loved. And I started selling my art in high school.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, if you know you're gonna, that's your path, right? You have to start somewhere. So I started showing at all the local libraries and local places, and getting my name out there. And I guess that time there wasn't internet yet, so it
Yeah.
like I was in the newspaper and doing things like that. And little by little, I got connected with interior designers and local um, collector. And then, but none of that mattered in the end because I ended up going a whole different direction with my art. So I
Uh-huh.
had to rebuild that what I spent so many years on building a network in New York, which is where I'm from. And I moved to San Francisco after going to several art schools abroad, like I mentioned earlier, and then just had to find a new voice through my art
Hmm.
and create my own style because
Yeah.
the old work I used to do no longer suited me. And I was a plein air painter. So I was working
Uh-huh.
in kind of impressionist style for many, many years. And I got training from that. I had a very academic background, going to the Academy of Art and several other art institutions that were very academic.
Hmm.
My original teacher was also Russian, and so he taught me old school, Russian
Yeah.
techniques. And that was my beginnings and my baseline. And through that, I was able to go into abstract and kind of create my own way, which I say probably wouldn't have been as successful if I didn't have that foundation that I
Yeah.
was taught for so many years of being, sitting on the drawing horse, and your arm hurting and icing it,
Uh-huh.
and all those 6-hour drawing classes, and where you're just like it's torture, but you're
Yeah.
happy doing it. But it's that all the artists listening, I'm sure they know what I'm talking about because you're like
Yeah, for sure.
you love it, but your back hurt. I have a screwed up back, for my life.
Uh-huh.
But, it's but through all of that, I was able to, I think, have this foundation so that I could go
Mhm.
in the direction I wanted to, and so that
Yeah.
happened in California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Your style is it looks really effortless in terms of like it's not overdone. It's not like so, some paintings look like by some artists I see they look overworked. They look overdone. Yours looks very spontaneous, yet it looks very balanced. Like for
Thank you.
me, I always feel like there needs to be a visual balance between the background and the details and the colors. And if I look at the painting, it just feels like to me. Then I feel like the artist has achieved that perfection of it looks just right,
Aw, that's
just how it's supposed to be. And so I think your background definitely contributes to that. You just know.
I appreciate you saying that because I think there was another talk anyway, yeah, it's come up a lot of times where, I think through experience, like the most important thing I think for a lot of artists, as I know, as I'm sure, when you've been doing it for a long time, is knowing when to stop,
Yeah,
and that comes, I think, with experience. Because yeah, early on, you just want to keep going and going over and going over. And I've seen, even through teaching classes, I've seen, amazing, beautiful works that kind of transform as the person just keeps going over and over and over. And at
yeah,
then everyone always says, "Oh, I wish I didn't touch it."
yeah,
And of
yeah,
course, some mediums are more forgiving than others, but
yeah,
yeah, I do think that is something that takes with time. And because I work with metal leafing, gold and silver, I can't go over it actually.
yeah,
Once that stroke is there,
yeah,
I can't go over it. It's not like a regular canvas in the back. I mean, it's
yes,
canvas, but it's not it's yeah. So I have to really be sure of
yeah,
my placements, but yet have that feeling like you said of spontaneity because that's what makes art, right?
yeah, yeah. Over the years, I've learned to trust myself, just, to trust my gut
Yeah.
feeling. And like with a lot of work that I've done over the years, some of my clients ask me, like, how do you know if it's done?
Yeah,
And I say, I just feel it. I just know inside that it's done.
right.
And if you get that feeling that it's done, and it's like a very joyful feeling, really, it's
Agreed.
a sense of like, hey, this makes me happy. Like, and it's a sense of completion and joy. If you feel that sense, this is where you stop, and you
Right.
just like pat yourself on the back and say, okay, yay, let's go to the
Yeah,
next
and
one.
I think there are lots of things that some paintings, each painting to me is very, very different. So, of course, there's many paintings where you have this strong intuition and like this is it, it's done. There are other paintings that you kind of sit on and you're like, no, maybe it could go into this, could go into that. But you do learn tricks. I turn paintings upside down a lot.
Mhm.
I turn it to the wall and I don't look at it for a week, and I
Yeah.
come back a week later. There are lots of things, but yeah, I agree with you.
Hmm.
It is a learning how to paint is just as important as learning when to stop to paint,
Yes.
right? They're both just as important to learn. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have a whole bunch of questions for you. We will sort of do it in sections. And the first section is art sales. So, what are the main
Yes.
things that have generated sales for your original paintings over the years? Like, what are the main avenues or like ways of promoting your art or selling your art or like working with, for example, working with interior designers or Instagram or your direct sales through your website or art galleries. So, what would be your like top pick of things that actually like were super fruitful?
I would say galleries as well as my own network, my personal friends and network, and you know I mean, I feel like, I've been kind of at this for a really long time.
Yeah.
So the time, what happens is, right, like it builds, right? You're
Yes.
obviously, you plant your seeds when you're young, and not to say I'm still planting seeds and wanting to plant seeds, but what I'm trying to say is like buyers and collectors that have maybe first bought from me 10 years ago will come back to me now and say, okay, I bought a house in Santa Monica,
Yes.
or I have this house now, right? So because you're growing with your clients.
Yes.
So I would say it's and
Yeah.
of course my relationship with my galleries, which I
Yeah.
hold very near and dear to my heart, and I protect that. And that's been a relationship that's the
Yeah.
same thing, growing over
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
All right. So, how do you get your art into the hands of commercial collectors? So, you've exhibited your art at a lot of galleries, but you also have sold your art to wellness centers, spas, resorts, medical and healing centers, universities, hotels, and banks. So, what's your way to pitch it to them, or like how do you get your foot in the door with them?
Sure. I never had a team. I've never, I should say, I have, my assistant, but I never like hired a marketing team or did any of that. So this was
Hmm.
all done, myself, maybe an intern or two or my assistant,
Yeah.
but I never hired a professional company. And so
Yeah.
it really was a lot of reaching out. Um, I guess looking back, my work has always been intertwined with my personal life.
Yeah.
So wherever I go, and I nowadays not as much, but I still travel, but not like, I used to. I used to be on a plane every other week and going here and there and all over the world. And I always, I kept my work was with me. So if I stayed in a place that I thought would be a good place to house my work and to show my work, I would
Hmm.
try and collaborate,
Yeah.
I went to a wellness center and I was like, wow, this like is so in tune with my work. And
Hmm.
then there were lots of places I went to that I thought were beautiful, but I didn't think would be a good fit.
Yeah.
But I would always just, yeah, I mean, it's part of you, right?
Yeah.
So I think like a lot of that natural connections that I made through
Hmm.
life, and then also just actively searching. And it's funny because now it's so easy to you have the internet, you could just look up,
Yeah.
okay, all these places, give me a list, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
back then, it wasn't like that, so I really had to hustle, and there were a lot
Yeah.
of places that I had to call many, many, many times, visit many times. Even if they said no the first few years, they
Yeah.
later said yes. So, but
Yeah.
I kept it on my list. It's
Hmm.
important to keep track
Hmm.
where you're reaching out, how you're being received, what are their responses? Is
Yeah.
it timing that they're saying no to?
Hmm.
Is it your style?
Hmm.
What is it? The
Yeah.
audience. And really learning, I think, what are your goals, right? Every artist has
Yeah.
different goals. And then also knowing where you fit
Hmm.
in the world, because
Yeah.
you may have these visions, but it may not really be practical, or it may
Yeah.
not fit. Maybe it's, you're going down a different path when you could be looking at a whole nother path.
Yeah.
So I think like knowing where you fit in without, because you're so close to your own work, it's very hard sometimes to step back and looking at your work
Yeah.
objectively, right? So just being able to do that. But yeah, I think just really doing your research and
Hmm.
reaching out and not being afraid to hear no's. I mean,
Hmm.
that was a big part of it for me, was just I expected a no, and that was
Yeah.
fine. But I
Yeah.
knew it would become a yes, kind of thing.
Yeah. So pitching is a skill, and you sort of need to know how to pitch yourself and who to reach out to. For example, if you try to pitch yourself to like a receptionist, they have no power or no control over like the actual
Yeah.
decision, and their job is really like to, in a way, to protect the company
Right, right.
from like solicitors. And so when what I've learned is that it's okay to reach out to higher level people.
Sure.
And like, has that been your experience? Like when you reach out directly to the owner or to like even an office manager is also a higher level person. Like, if you want your art in the office and it's basically their job to decorate the office space.
So I'll say this. I think for me, looking, if I think about it, all the places that like even if we're speaking about galleries, I've gone to in person.
Hmm.
Right. There's so many artists I think that just send out emails. It's like, have you
Yeah.
visited the gallery? Do you even know if your work would look good there or against the
Yeah.
other artists? Right. Like you have to have you gone to their openings? Do you know the other artists that they show? Right. Like
Yeah.
so for me, I've always gone in person. I've done my homework. I I see who else they show. Does my work really fit in this place, or is it
Hmm.
just that I wanna be in Santa Fe? I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so I think and because I traveled so much, I would always make it a point to visit new places, galleries, and see, and there are a lot of places that I loved, but my work I knew would not work there.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
didn't waste their time, I don't waste my time, um but sometimes, you get this connection and then, if they like your work, they will,
Hmm.
connect. But yeah, I think it's easy to be discouraged
Yes.
in this art world. But these days there's way more opportunities. So I
For
think
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So how do you promote and sell your book? I know you have a new book out. And so what's the name of the book and how do you promote it?
It's titled Awakening. It's about 2 300 of my paintings that have all
Wow.
been sold. And along with personal quotes that it took many years to put together because I would come up with these personal quotes while I painted in my
Yeah.
studio. And so I decided to kind of create something that would share my voice and,
Yes.
through both text and visual
Mhm.
art. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you just leveled yourself up in the eyes of collectors. It's definitely leveling up because you not only have like this compilation of your works, but also sort of like an explanation. Like, how do you feel like
Right.
inside when you paint,
Right.
or like, what is the meaning of this
Yeah.
piece of art, and it really adds a different sense of perception of your not only art but also you as an artist, your brand, and it's definitely a leveling you up. And the fact that I think your book is in two museums right now, right?
Yeah, it's at the Boca Raton Museum here in Florida and at the Murakami Museum.
Hmm.
It's sold online. It's sold in galleries where my
Hmm.
work is, of course. And yeah, I mean, it's not something I made to really just to make money on or
Yeah.
anything like that. It was more, it was really
Yeah.
for
Oh,
me to
awesome.
that I wanted. And but
Yeah.
yet I think people are enjoying it.
Yeah. So did you self-publish the book or did you
Yeah.
go to? Yeah,
No,
great, good for you.
I just did it
Yeah.
with a beautiful book company in New York that has made books for many famous artists and
Yeah.
famous writers, and so I was proud to work with them. But
Hmm.
yes, I created it.
Yeah. Do you mind sharing their name, the publisher's name?
I do. I'm gonna look it up
Yeah.
and give it to you because I can't remember right now. But they're right in New York City, and I'm more than
Yeah.
happy to give you their info. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. How do you promote and sell your greeting cards?
That's another it's the same with the book. To be honest, I don't put, like, so much effort into them. People are buying them off my website, and it's kind of fun because I had a girl from Norway, and I was like, "Ha Norway? I
Yeah.
been to Norway in years." So people are finding it somehow, maybe through Instagram or
Hmm.
something,
Yeah.
but I'm not putting, like, massive energy into those things. It's really fun for me.
Do you have it set up like through print on demand? Like, how do you fulfill your orders?
No, these are all limited edition. I'm not
Gotcha.
making them again. I actually only have like less than 50 left of the
Gotcha.
cards, and the same with the books. And I I'm actually working on a tote bag now, but I just
Hmm.
like doing it's really fun for me,
Yeah.
and I kinda don't wanna do them again. I think
Hmm.
it's like the paintings, you do
Yeah.
them, and it's like you release them into the world and you're on to the next, right? Like, you don't try to
Yeah.
recreate the same painting. So, for me, it's
Yeah.
kind I guess I look at it like that.
Yeah. So basically, you fulfill each order by yourself. Like, if you need to mail something, you just go ahead and mail it. Okay. What about your umbrellas? How do you sell and promote your umbrellas?
Same thing. It's a limited edition run, and it was based off the painting titled This Way,
Hmm.
which is a very special painting to me. I included it into my wedding as well, and so it's very personal. And I
Yeah.
decided to make umbrellas with it, and it was a big hit. It still is.
Hmm.
Again, I don't have much left of those either. They're kind of going,
Yeah.
and I may make a different style now.
Oh, well, no, both your greeting cards and umbrellas are. I mean, the umbrella is just beautiful. I mean, it's
I appreciate that. Thanks. It was a lot of work, to be honest. It was
my kids, they're like into these super colorful things and they just love the pattern and the color palette. So, yeah, if they
yeah, I'll
like
have to
it,
take
it,
you
it
on.
means like it has passed the stamp of approval, like unbiased, very, very particular. They're very picky, my kids. So,
Well, thank you. I'll have to take
yes,
you on.
yes. So, let's talk about art shows.
Yeah.
How do you pitch yourself to galleries for solo exhibitions? And what's your approach there?
Okay. When you said art shows, I was thinking of like art expos and things like that. But you mean art exhibit. I mean, that's the same as I think what we talked about before, which is the galleries, right? And because if you connect with the gallery, obviously you'll be part of their exhibition somehow,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So, and usually galleries don't, if they decide they want to try taking your work, they may take a few at a time and see how it goes.
Hmm.
It's usually not like, where they agree and then you say, well, I want a solo show. It doesn't really work
Yeah.
that way. That in that more in their hands if they want to offer you a solo show. And a lot of times I found galleries don't start off that way.
Hmm.
They just take a few pieces and see the response, and then I think
Yeah.
if they see they do well, then they'll maybe in time offer
Hmm.
you a solo show. And it
Yeah.
could be a year later, 2 years, 3 years,
Yeah.
ever, and just group shows.
Yeah.
So
It depends on like what they have going on their end as well.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Because they most of the times they want to have a variety of like styles and artists because it's more marketable. But if they are going in for a solo exhibition for an artist, they sort of need to have your support as well. Your support as an artist, like how much they, I think they sort of look at not only your art, but also you as a person and like what do you do to support them?
Yes.
Yeah. So, um, so how do you support your shows and like your group shows, your solo shows? Like, what are your efforts that you put in?
So you're saying once you have a
Yeah.
show in place, I mean, now that, we have all the social media, I'm really only on Instagram. I'm Michelle Sakhai Art. I
Yes.
like to promote on my stories where I'm showing if there's something coming up. I also have a newsletter that I send out. So anyone that wants to be part of my newsletter can sign up on my website and they just put in their email address and you're in. I don't bombard you. I send about 3 emails a year.
Yeah. That's great.
And I just, share what's going on.
Yeah.
I also have clients all over. So if there is a show in Texas and I'll email some of my clients and say, "Hey, I'm having an exhibit at this gallery,
Yeah.
feel free to visit," and things like that.
Cool. Great. So is that how you invite people to your like open gallery openings? Basically, do you only invite them through your newsletter and Instagram, or do you have some additional uh, avenue that you use?
I don't really. No, I don't really. I built a list of clientele, and I just send it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's effective. Like I've seen some artists do um they mail in like really high quality sort of cards to to their previous clients or interior designers, and it's a good reminder about themselves. It can also get costly.
Yeah,
It's
I've done
just
that.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I've
so
definitely done that in the past and in times where it was, but I think these days everyone's just on their phone all the time.
yes,
So, right,
yeah,
it's a little different now.
yeah,
They may not
yeah,
check their mail and they may miss it.
for sure, yes. And then how do you get into group art shows? Do you just apply?
So for me, it's the same way with the galleries. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
group shows and the galleries, and it's their, if the gallery decides they want to have a group show, then
Hmm.
throw me in it or they don't. I've
Yeah.
had sometimes put me in shows, sometimes take me out of shows.
Yeah.
It depends on what their theme is, what they want
Yeah.
to focus on, and I don't get too attached to any of that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's more
So,
that's not really my job, right? That's their
yes.
job.
Yeah. Yeah. It's up to them how they want to curate it, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And how they want to if they want to put together how many group shows they have a year. I mean, all those things
Mhm.
are.
Yeah.
I have a gallery now also that I'm working with that they don't do shows anymore. They just
Yeah.
stop doing shows and they just have clients that they know well and they
Mhm.
work that way. They stopped. They don't do any shows.
In a way, it makes sense
Mhm,
because they have their own network of interior
mhm,
designers. Interior designers want to come in and look at the work. They're actually probably it's a group of buyers that are always on the lookout for quality art, and they all want to present it like that to their clients who want to have quality art in their homes. They can afford it, but they don't feel like going to 10 galleries to look at different pieces of art, but they have this color palette in their house and they just like this sort of art that can be like very vibrant or very pastel looking and calm. And so it's really the interior designer's work that kind of goes into that puzzle. So I do think that a lot of galleries are kind of shifting that way.
mhm, mhm.
I'm like in Seattle, there are a lot of galleries that do have shows, and that's the main thing. And there has been one gallery that is only open by appointment, and they have been open by appointment only for years, and that's their strategy. They only have high end art. They
Right.
only open by appointment whenever high end client really wants to like look at something what costs $50,000, and that's that,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So, and it would probably cost them more to have their doors open all the time and to have to like worry about like if it's being stolen or having to worry about the insurance, like being so costly because they basically don't have stuff locked up. Yeah, yeah. So I think it's a valid strategy. And
Mhm,
if you can get your art into one of those galleries, that's tremendous. I think that's one of those things that would yield uh, great results for you, and not only in terms of financial perspective, but also just it's great to have your art kind of secure. You don't have to worry about
mhm.
stuff. Yeah. So do you sell your art on consignment through galleries? Like, how does that work for you?
I definitely have in the past, and I still have, I think, some workout and consignment. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
That also depends per gallery. Everyone works so differently. And these days, now I keep saying these, but like, everything always constantly changing. And all the galleries are so different on how they
yeah,
work, you know. And also because a lot of galleries that used to have a physical gallery are now online,
Yeah.
and they no longer have a physical store. Then that changes how they take an
Yeah.
inventory, right?
Yeah.
So where are they going to put your art? So then they
Yeah.
just want to have it like, this agreement where they could
Yeah.
just shop it around. And
Mhm.
so yes, there are certain circumstances. I would say for people out there that are maybe just kind of getting into to just be careful.
Mhm.
And you just don't know, so I would
Mhm.
be cautious about who you hand off your physical art to,
Yeah.
and make sure you know the person. And I've had bad experiences with galleries too, where they took my work and either lost it, or
Mhm.
they say they sold it for half off, all these things.
Yeah.
So you just have to really be buttoned up and know who you're, getting into a relationship with.
Yeah. Yeah. And my advice would be to have an agreement in place. If a gallery doesn't have an agreement in place, don't send them
Uh,
anything until you actually both sign something, and
mm,
you need to have a tracking number for your piece of art that you ship to them. And then you need to have a confirmation of receipt. And
and
once
how
they,
long and how
yeah,
long you want them to have it for as well, right?
yes, and also the terms of like sale, how much they get, how much you get, how
True.
much of a discount they can give to a client that you would be comfortable with. And overall, like if you're sending your art to them for a long period of time, it's essential to have insurance. If it's somewhere local where you can go pick it up, you can always check on it. Maybe you want insurance, maybe not. Yeah.
Well, the gallery should have insurance.
Yes.
That's very important. If there, God forbid, there's a fire, there's theft, there's, all sorts of stuff. Also, make sure it's covered for the transportation part from when they pick it up from you, if they pick it up from you in their vehicle, in their van or whatever, and then it
Yeah.
goes, all these things. So definitely 100% have a contract in place. No
Yeah.
question.
So, do you split the shipping costs with them, or do you cover most of the shipping
So,
costs yourself when you ship?
so
Like,
I'm going to say every gallery is different.
mm-hmm,
It also depends on location. So
mm-hmm,
the galleries in the area that I'm very close to, we work it out. They'll pick it up from me. I'll drop it off to them. We have this mutual understanding.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Most of the ones that are away, I'd say that I ship and then they ship back if they can't sell
Yeah.
it. I would say that's probably the more common route, but not to say I've gone 50-50 with many galleries for ship.
Mm-hmm.
So every one of them is different. Again, go over the contract carefully, see what
Yeah.
works for you. If a gallery is close by, I
Mm-hmm.
always recommend just dropping it off.
Yes. And
They
picking
really
it up. Yeah.
they appreciate it. It's so much less, on them. It goes a
Yeah.
long way.
Yeah. Yeah. What about international exhibitions that you've had? Like, what would be
So
your advice?
so they've all been different. I've gone 50-50 many a times, and I have also gone and taken my art many times,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm physically going,
Yeah.
and I wanna take my work with me. So but yeah, it's there's no standard.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see how you feel, what, like, has if this gallery has sold before,
Mm-hmm.
you may feel like, okay, this is more worth it out of pocket.
Yeah.
And so it is different. If it's a gallery I never worked with, I have no clue how they're going,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe, I want to split that from the beginning, or, do I want
Yeah.
to take a risk and spend all this money on shipping when I don't even know if they really can sell it, right? So
Yeah.
you got to think about it, and every place is different for sure.
Yeah. So last question. How do you find places to get featured in, and which places you would recommend and why? So
I'm probably not my strong suit with this, to be honest. I don't do too well with. I should. This is not my forte. I should be more um involved, and but yeah, I to be honest, a lot of the places they've come to me, um and I think a lot of places that I've reached out to maybe just didn't hadn't worked out. And then there are places that I was introduced to, I think, by other collectors or friends or uh,
Mhm.
that worked out. It's kind of a mishmash. I mean, after so many years, I'm gonna, I'm sorry that I don't have a clear like response to that question. I think the marketing world is tough for sure. And I mean, I don't even know, do people still read physical magazines? I don't know. I think I'm in several like online publications, but
Mhm.
probably something, it happened where they found maybe the gallery I was in and
Yeah.
then contacted me, or a lot of the maybe through galleries
Mhm.
they connect me. Um yeah, I mean, I may not have the best tip for that last question, to be
It's
honest.
okay.
Sorry, I'm being
Yeah,
honest.
so some artists, yeah, some artists they like actively seek out features in online publications or magazines or newspapers or podcasts, and some artists sort of kind of like, okay, I'll just go have a show at the gallery, and then we'll see if something.
I mean, look, it's always great to do. I mean, I
Yeah,
try to reach out as much as I can, for
yeah,
sure. And I have my assistant try and do that. And I think it's important of course, for many reasons. But yeah, you don't always connect with the live human on the other side, right?
yeah,
So a lot of the reach outs just go into
yeah.
the water, and it's fine. But and
Hmm.
then sometimes you do get um like when I had the show in San Francisco, it was a big ordeal because it was at
Hmm.
Fairmont and 500
Hmm.
people. It was like a whole thing. And so they brought in a lot of the local press. And when
Yeah,
you have big events like that, that's really exciting because it's not in
yeah,
your hands. You don't have to
yeah.
do legwork. So, I mean, I would definitely push the galleries that you are in and try to remind them, like, hey, are there any publications that I could be part of and things like
Hmm.
that I think
Yes.
because it's coming from them. It's where it's different than coming from an artist, for sure.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, let me remind you where you can find Michelle and her art. So, I highly recommend you guys go to to her website. It's michellesakhai.com. Check out her work and her exhibitions. I love looking at other artists' websites just because it's really important to kind of see how they're progressing and what steps they're taking to level themselves up. So Michelle is definitely one of those that I would follow on Instagram for sure. So just kind of see how she's doing things, and if you feel like this is something what deeply resonates with you, and like this is the missing piece of the puzzle that you have been trying to figure out, like for your own art career, like you've been doing this one thing but you want to switch to something else, you know like just listen to the first part of this podcast again, and kind of maybe that will answer your question. Like if you've been a plein air artist all your life, maybe like this is how you switch to abstract. Or maybe you've been trying to figure out how to ship art or how to work with galleries. And like this podcast episode answers your questions. And so, we're all in this together. We're all in the same boat in terms of like how we're figuring things out. And so this podcast is designed to like just answer questions that you yourself may not know answers to, but like somebody else has done this and figured it out and like has done through this process before. So, just
Yeah, if I can just jump in, I'll say that I'm still figuring it out, right? Like we're all kind of anyone that says, "Oh, I've figured it out," well, I don't know if they really totally have. If you're saying that, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I think technology, everything's changing so rapidly. To have it all figured out, I don't think is really possible when there's something new every day, right?
yeah,
That you can implement into your work, your daily process of how you do things. So I think there's always so much room to grow. And if there's one thing I can add, it's this simple thing. I think for being an artist, we're speaking to artists here. Like I think authenticity is a huge, huge component to me.
yeah,
And I just want to share that because I think if you're authentic to what you create and who you are, then all of the decisions you make and the choices that you choose will be the right one for you because you're
Yeah.
being authentic to who you are as an artist, what you
Yeah.
create, and what your goals are in this world with your art, right?
Yeah.
So, my path may be very different from your path, and so I
Yeah.
think as long as you stay authentic to what you're creating and your message and your
Yes.
goals, then it'll lead you the right way.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's a great advice, and I think that definitely should be the inner compass for a lot of members of our community and artists at large. So I just want to thank you again for joining
Yeah,
me, and
thank you for having me. I really
yeah,
appreciate
it has been such a
it. It was
great
fun.
conversation, guys. Again, so check out her website. It's Michelle Sakhai, and her Instagram handle is Michelle Sakhai Art. So I will have everything in the video podcast, like we can see the links, but it also will be in the description of the podcast and the videos. So thank you again for joining.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Sakhai and Michelle with 2 L's.
Yes. All
Thank
right. Well, thank you. Okay.
Thank you again.
Bye.